Okay, members, if you're happy, we'll make a start. To all members of Environment and Regeneration Committee, you're hereby summoned to attend the monthly meeting of Environment and Regeneration Committee, which will be a hybrid meeting to be conducted remotely via WebEx and physically in the Council Chamber Derry on the 14th of February at 4 p.m. And I'll take the roll call. Alderman Derek Hussey.
Online, but I cannot bring up the agenda on my iPad. If you could check, why not? Thank you.
Okay. Can you access it via the internet or the council website? Perhaps we'll maybe ask ITD.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it on my iPad and ModGov.
I think there's an issue with ModGov, Karen, because mine isn't loading either.
Okay, can members access it through the council website?
All right.
Yeah, Philip has been able to do that. If members are happy to do that. Chair, do you want to have a short recess to organise that?
Sorry, just wait a second. No, I know I had this problem yesterday as well. I know that if you select the environment pack and wait a while, it will load up, after about 5 minutes. Alternatively, if you look at your email notification, the email that was sent out to notify members of this meeting, there's actually an email link contained within that email for the internet service. And as far as I know, the internet password and username is the same as your council email. So if you want to try that.
That's grand. I'll try that. Thanks, Chair. Sorry to hold up proceedings.
Okay.
No problem. Thank you.
Mr. Norris, do you want to raise an issue then? Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Alderman Keith Kerrigan. He left, he was going to join. Alderman Julie Middleton.
Here online, just for Derek, I sent you a different link to the one that's on the email that works for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Jason Barr.
Here.
Yeah. Councillor Raymond Barr had sent apologies. Councillor John Boyle.
Here.
Councillor Caitlin Deeney.
Sure.
Councillor Alex Duffy.
Sure.
Councillor Brian Hart.
And sure.
Thank you. Councillor Emma McGinley.
Sure.
Councillor Rory McHugh. Councillor Patrick Murphy.
Sure.
Councillor Declan Norris.
Here.
And Councillor Martin Riley.
Here.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks for that, Karen. Item 2 is is there any apologies that came through there? Mr. Barr, just. Item 3 is the broadcast statement. So I'd like to remind everyone present at this meeting in the Guildhall or in attendance remotely that this meeting will be broadcast live to the internet and will be capable of repeated viewing. This broadcast may be terminated or suspended in accordance with our protocol. Due to your attendance at this meeting, you are consenting to being filmed and to the use and storage of those images for broadcasting or training purposes and for the purpose of keeping historical records and making those records available to the public. Members and approved speakers are reminded to only have their mics and cameras on while speaking at the meeting and to use the chat facility to highlight requests to speak. A copy of the Council Privacy Notice may be found on the Council website, www.derrystrabane.com. Item 4, members, is declaration of members' interests, and I will declare an interest on number 29, Lands at Derryview, Castlederrig, as a member of Castlederrig GA. Are there any other declarations of members' interests?
Same, Chair, as a member of Derryview Football Club.
That's Derryview Estate, Derek, that it's in relation to, not the football club.
Chair, just to declare I'm on the board for Shandolans. It's on one of the items open for information.
It's a Shandolans GAC club.
The Gaelic club.
Yeah, Councillor McGinley.
That's grand, Chair. As I say, I haven't got stuff
21.
in front of me yet, so okay.
Jill, it's 21.
Councillor Hussey, we couldn't hear you there. Do you want to come back in?
No, thanks for that correction, Chair. As I say, I still haven't got stuff in front of me, so I'm playing blind here at the minute. Not a blinder, just playing blind.
No problem, councillor. We'll see. Item 5 then, members, is chair's business. Just about a housekeeping. We've been asked by Sharon Maxwell to just remind everybody when you're speaking or voting, please have your mic turned on, especially when you're voting, because I know members in the chamber tend not to put their mics on when voting. But if somebody's watching from home, they don't know who has voted, yay or nay, and sometimes they don't hear the outcome of the vote either. So just to remind members of that. Also, just to say that our presentation that was to happen today will not be happening. I'm sure you are devastated. And item 7, we're going to defer that until the next meeting, because the policy that that item refers to has accidentally not been attached to the report, so members wouldn't have had an opportunity to actually read it. So we need to defer that until next month's meeting if members are in agreement. Yeah. And one item of chair's business was Councillor Barr, who came to me. Go ahead, Councillor Jason Barr.
Thank you. Chair, for allowing me in, I just want to raise the issue, which I'm sure officers are probably aware at this stage, is the blue-green algae that has been established at Murdoch, just outside Glenmornan. And I'm just basically looking for an update so far on what councillors are aware of and what action maybe council has taken to date, please.
Through you, Chair, members, that matter's being taken forward by our Environmental Health Department, which sits within Health and Communities. If it's okay, I can ask that the team to give an update to members tomorrow. And if it's more urgent, they can update members. My understanding is they've put signage up and it's being monitored, but we can give a more comprehensive update at Health and Communities tomorrow, if that's okay.
Just for a wee bit of clarity, that would become under DRS responsibility, isn't that correct? So just with that being said, Chair, would you mind if I put a wee proposal forward under that, just to be pretty simple?
Yeah, I'm informed it's more pertinent to the Health and Communities Committee.
Perfect. I can wait till tomorrow then to propose that on Chair. Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Barr. Just online, I have Alderman Middleton.
Thank you, Chair. Alderman Gary Wilkinson has an update from Environmental Health regarding Murlock. I also have it here if you want me to share that or not.
Yeah, that's no problem. Go ahead.
Just a wee second, I'll just load it to make sure I'm not paraphrasing. So the gist of it is, DAERA carried out inspections. In fact, I'll just read it to you. Council officers have been liaising with DAERA during the month of January following reports that blue-green algae was present on Murlock. DAERA and Land Fisheries have been notified, as this is a public angling estate fishery, and the signage has been placed as a precautionary measure. DAERA officials have subsequently carried out further checks of the shoreline and have confirmed that blue-green algae was no longer present. And then there's just links to report if any more is seen, but just to treat it as precautionary, treat the signage as precautionary, and the fact that it was there as precautionary as well. But as of all the January checks, there was no more present. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Middleton. The sound quality is not great from members online, you know, so Alderman Middleton, if you could email that to Karen.
Sure, I'll do that now. Thank you.
She can then circulate it to all members. Okay, and I have Councillor Hart online as well.
Thanks, Chair. I just want to acknowledge the work that my colleague, Sinn Féin Councillor Paul Boggs, has done on this in relation to Murdoch. He was actually the person that brought it to the relevant authorities' attention. And as we know, this blue-green algae is a problem that it's appearing quite across the whole of the north and the country as a whole. Michelle O'Neill has given referenced it recently when she spoke about Lough Neagh directly, but she is going to take it on board and we're going to push to have these matters addressed as a matter of urgency. So it's just to put that in record. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hart, any other member? No. So we'll move on then to item 6, members, which is the matters arising from our previous month's meeting, and that's pages 5 to 18. Any member, any matter arising out of those minutes? Anybody online? No. That takes us then, members, to item 8, which is our Greenways Development Plan. And Karen's taking that for us.
Thank you, Chair and members. The purpose of this report is to update members on the development of greenways and other cycling and walking infrastructure in the district and seek endorsement for the programme of development during 24 to 28 and in particular 24 to 25. Members, you'll be aware that Council's long track record of successful delivery of greenways and other infrastructure such as the North West Greenways network, and we have been developing a walking and cycling network master plan that's guided the development of new routes. Members, in June 2023, the Department for Infrastructure approached councils to ask them to draft a 5-year programme for greenway development with emphasis on strategic routes and particularly those delivering on the Northern Ireland Greenway strategy. And many of the schemes that we considered and subsequently proposed arise from members' workshops that we undertook back in October 2021. Members, a summary of the proposed 5-year plan is attached to your paper today as Appendix 1. And as you can see, some of the projects officers believe that DFI might be better placed to take the lead on, as they are the most feasible options are roadside routes. So members, the plan is the basis for greenway development going forward, with annual reports back to council on progress, and then the addition or removal of projects. Members, the programme we provided to DFI was used as a focus for 3 workshops with members back in October 2023, which were well attended by members, and members were supportive of the programme, with most of the additional comments received relating to local projects rather than the more strategic greenways. Members, DFI have informed councils they are currently developing an active travel network plan for Northern Ireland, focusing on settlements with populations of over 5,000, and WS Aikens are developing this plan, and a public consultation is expected in spring 2024. Officers do continue to work with the local DFI active travel team on potential projects that are typical, smaller scale and more local in nature, such as widening of existing roadside footpaths to shared just standard, etc. Members, in section 3 of your report, we run through some of the projects that are outlined in the appendix. And members, you will be aware that through Capital Review Group, Council allocated resources to develop projects from commissioning designs and studies needed to taking projects through from concept, planning and then on to delivery. And so members, we will need to focus on, given the current resource, on a number of high priority projects. And also members, if we have additional resources become available either internally or externally, then a greater number of projects can be developed. So members, the report runs through some of the recently completed projects. You will recall the Strathfoyle Greenway, the €35 million Interreg Northwest Greenways project, again, Ballinagorry Castlefin route, which includes Strabane Canal and Strabane North, and new shared use paths in Lifford and Strabane town centres, and Maydown Quigley's Point route, which inclusive of the Stradone Drive, Strathfoyle, Culmore, Pennyburn Bridge and Muff Greenways links. And members, work is also progressing on the Clooney Master Plan Greenway, And indeed, officers are progressing the delivery of 900 metres greenway link at Dergview, Castle Derg as part of the Levelling Up Derg Active project. And this scheme is on programme to mobilise in spring. And during 2025, members, we propose that the North West Greenways development will focus on the completion of the North West Greenways project, Derg Active and the Stradone Drive Greenway, which has been mentioned. And again, officers will also work on the submission of the planning application for Clooney Greenway, and indeed to give attention to the Strabansai and Mills Victoria Bridge Greenway. So members, in terms of implications, clearly members will recall that we have received external funding from a number of different sources, DFI, DFC, DERA, and also from SEUPB in the past in terms of greenway development. And again, DFI funding is primarily aimed at promoting active travel, and so projects that are in line with the Northern Ireland Greenway strategy and departmental priorities. And members, you will be aware that under the Climate Act, 10% of DFI spend on transport must be allocated to active travel. So there may well be significant funding available for greenway development in the future, and we will continue to work with all partners in terms of funding. So in terms of recommendations, members are asked to endorse the 5-year Greenway Plan as a structure for future Greenway development and improve the prioritisation of the completion of the North West Greenways network, the submission of the Clooney's Master Plan application, and the initiation of Strabansai and Mills Victoria Bridge Greenway as the projects that we will be doing during 24-25. And members, clearly, should additional resources become available, we will work on other projects where we can. Thank you, Chair. Happy to take any comments that members have.
Thank you, Karen. Of a number of councillors indicated, first of whom is Councillor Alex Duffy. Go ahead.
Mayor, good Chair, and can I just thank council officers for their work on the development plan, and a special thank you to Mike Savage for his work on the Strathfoyle Greenway and the Greenways throughout our city and district. Mike has been a driving force behind that with his team, and we have, as a Faughan councillor and a resident within Strathfoyle, we have benefited greatly from Mike's expertise and delivery on the Greenway. As the success of the Strathfoyle Greenway, the health and mental health well-being, it's seen throughout the City and District, but more so for the people of Strathfoyle. They have benefited greatly from it, and it is well praised, and people are very thankful for council for that. Can I just ask regarding well, I suppose it's the 4th phase of the Strathfoyle Greenway of the Stradone Drive section. It's very welcome the planning was passed for that a few months ago, and are we still on track, and is there a start date? Can I ask, please? And again, best of luck to Mike Savage as he retires. And I'm happy to propose them recommendations.
Thank you, Chair. Members, I don't have anyone from the Greenways team here today, but I will find out the start date for that. Pardon? Oh, yeah, Mike is online. I don't know whether he's able to actually come in or not. Mike, are you?
Yep. Can you hear
Yep,
me okay?
thank you.
Okay, grand. Yeah, so we're just finalising the funding for Strado to make sure we have sufficient funds from the different sources. And it's currently, the tender documents are with CPD, but we hope to be on site in April with a fair wind.
Thank you, Mike. And again, to echo, I know members will want to thank Mike, who's retiring in March, for all his work he's in terms of the Greenways. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, Karen, just to echo that, to wish Mike all the very best in his retirement at the end of the month. to thank him, and I know I speak for every councillor to say that we appreciate the amount of work that he has put on that role. So thank you, Mike. I have Councillor Hart indicated online.
Thanks, Chair, for letting me come in. And I just want to reiterate your comments and Alex's comment. Thanks to Mike and his team for all the work they're doing, and look forward to working with your replacement. I don't know if that's been announced or who it is. But just on one thing, and it's in particular reference to the Strabane Cyan Mills. Just looking at those papers, it still seems that officers are still focused on the footpath option between Cyan Mills and Strabane. Now, this is contrary to what the people that have been surveyed and what the people want the route to follow the river, the scenic route from Strabane up to Cyan and possibly up to Victoria Bridge. You know, we don't want any bias being introduced before a feasibility study has had the chance to be completed. You know, that one particular route would be in favour of the other. And there was 100% public support shown in the letter last year that was presented to Council. Indeed, we had the Strabane Greenways group that made the presentation quite eloquently to this committee recently. And I'm sure all the councillors in the Sperrin and Derrick DA would be 100% behind the route along the river. So I want that just noted, and I want it included in any proposal that we want that river route as the main route rather than walking along the road, because I think a greenway and it'll all but, if it follows the road, it's a greenway in all but name, you know, walking alongside a busy road. We want as much as possible, even if it poses certain difficulties, that these routes are along away from traffic. So I just want that noted and included in the proposal going forward. So thank you.
Through you, Chair, members, we're happy to note that, and clearly, as Councillor Hart referenced, we will undertake a feasibility study which will outline all of the options and all of the costs, and then members will have all of that information available to them when they want to consider the results of any feasibility study. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Karen. And Councillor Jason Barrett.
Thank you, Chair, again for allowing me in, and just on behalf, first of all, on behalf of the SDLP group, and just to thank Mike for all his hard work throughout the years on progressing the greenways right across the council area, and just to wish Mike a very happy and healthy retirement. Just on the same vein as Councillor Hart there, my question has been answered under the feasibility study, so thanks for that, Karen. But it's just to say, look, thanks to the officers again for all their work on this, and looking forward in the more near future now to seeing the new Strabane Greenway, North Greenway been opened. I know there's a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement about people looking to get forward and get on and walking to it and connecting further down onto the Park Road and the Bog Road area. So look, again, just on behalf of the SDLP, to thank everyone again involved, and look forward to the feasibility study being carried out for the Strabane Cyan, and then that moving one step closer again to being delivered. So thank you very much. Happy to second the report.
Okay, that's seconded by Councillor Jason Barr. Alderman Middleton.
Thank you, Chair, for letting me in. I'd also like to thank the council officers for all the brilliant work to date in the Faughan and elsewhere in our council areas on our Greenway networks. They're just brilliant. I'd like to thank Mike for a recent meeting he had with me and the wealth of knowledge he shared with me regarding Greenway development. As a new councillor, it was very useful and really brought me up to speed. Now, I would just like to raise and sing about the possibility of a Brady to Macromason route to be considered in the near or future. Whilst I realise this may not be a scenic route, it would really alleviate some of the rural isolation felt and move to improve health and well-being. And I really feel like it would be pertinent to have these discussions before any work is done on the A5, because I'm just so aware that once the A5 work, whatever that may look like, happens, the possibility of a greenway is probably going to be out the door. And just finally, just would like to wish Mike a very, very happy and relaxing retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman, and Alderman Hussey.
Thank you, Chair. And like others, can I thank Mike for the work that he's done over his time in council. Similarly to Councillor Hart, I fully agree with that issue reference where the location of the Greenway from Strabane through to Sion and perhaps on further up to Victoria Bridge. I think if one looks at the work, the ongoing work between Lifford and Castlefin, there are very few who could actually call that a greenway. It's a footpath being built along the side of a road. So I think we need, if we're creating a greenway, let it be a greenway, proper greenway. I've heard the calls that Julie has indicated there, reference Brady through to that area. But before any others are added to the list, I'd like to remind Council and Trust that the request for consideration of the old ecclesiastical route from Ardstraw through to Lochderg, which would be a cross-border project, is still within the folio, within the agenda. I think, Mike, the last time we met face-to-face may have been actually at Derg Bridge when you were surveying the potential along that particular route. And I've also engaged with Deirdre Hart from the Donegal County Council side, who was working on the Columkill route, but took an interest in the fact of the potential of that ecclesiastical route, which would be along basically the Derg Valley. So I trust and hope that the preparatory work that has been done on that is not going to be lost, and that project is still very much within the compass and consideration of Council. Thank you, Chair.
Members, through you, if I just come back on those two issues, in terms of the Brady route, that would be covered under the new buildings to Strabane route. So we would look at that in a bit more detail at that time. In terms of the ecclesiastical route, then that is something that we've discussed internally. And as Alderman Hussey has referred, it's a similar type of a project to Columkill on a cross-border basis. And I'm aware that our business and culture team are looking into that, similar to that particular project, and intend to bring an update report to members very soon in relation to that. And then from Environment and Regeneration perspective, we will engage where we need to in terms of any additional infrastructure changes or anything that come out of that. So it is very much still being considered. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, I appreciate those comments from the Director. Thank you very much.
Okay, members, that has been proposed and seconded, not sensing any objection to it. So we'll move on then to item 9, which I think is a great wee project, and it's a switch to repair project, and Connor's taking that item for us.
Thanks, Chair. This is to seek members' approval for our reuse project, focusing on repairing small electrical items to be promoted as a switch to repair initiative. Members will be aware of the broad range of waste and resource-related projects and initiatives taken forward by Council, aimed at eliminating waste to landfill, encouraging reuse, and ensuring that waste items and products are recycled through appropriate treatment processes. In consideration of the above and following a call for projects, Council submitted an application to Materials Focus in early 2023, and were successful in securing £30,502 to fund a project to enable the recycling and reuse of small electrical items across the city and district. Research has established that there is some ambiguity within the public about what to do with broken or unwanted small electrical items, with people not really sure of how to dispose of them. Some people dispose in their black bins and some take them to their local recycling centre. Discarded and unwanted electrical items are the fastest growing waste streams across the globe. So in order to try and raise awareness and encourage recycling and reuse of these items, council are teaming up with Repair Cafe Foyle, a local community interest enterprise, to launch a series of pop-up repair cafes where members of the public can bring along the electrical items to see if they can be repaired for reuse or donation. Repair Cafe Foyle have a team of skilled volunteers who are willing to give up their time to help with the repair projects. And it is anticipated that the project will launch in early spring, with the first pop-up repair cafe happening towards the end of March. The first cafe workshop will take place in Castlederg, with subsequent cafes held in other rural areas of the city and district in consideration of the community need and access to facilities. The aim is to hold 2 repair cafes per month, so that all residents will have an opportunity to attend a session over the year-long project. Repair Cafe Foyle are actively seeking out premises across the district to ensure wider community participation, and if successful, consideration will be given to allocating drop-off points across the council area where people can take their unwanted electrical items for repair and subsequent reuse. One other option under consideration is how these donations of small items, kettles, toasters, etc. can be repaired and offered to people in need. In recognition of the rurality of the district and distribution of reuse services, the focus of this project will be to hold repair cafes within rural communities. The project aligns with Council's commitment to sustainability and circular economy and addressing climate change through the reuse of materials and avoidance of landfill. The project will be supported by a robust marketing campaign to raise awareness and encourage people not to throw these items out and hence reduce the tonnage being sent to landfill. And I say the Council has been successful in securing funding of £30,502 to deliver the project, and members are asked to endorse and support the Switch to Repair project.
Thanks for that report, Conor. It's great to see Castlederg and head of the queue. A number of councillors here, first of whom is Councillor Deeney.
Good Chair. So happy to support the recommendation. You've highlighted the key benefits of repairing electrical goods, particularly eliminating them from landfill, and how we could potentially offer these to people in need. And also delighted that we have funding for the project. So thank you to council officers for working on this. It's a really lovely project. Sorry, I propose it.
Thank you, Councillor Deeney, who's proposing that there. And I have Councillor Declan Norris, sorry.
Thank you, Chair, for bringing me in. This is a brilliant project, you know, and I'll second it. As somebody who would footer at a lot of things, you know, I very rarely throw out anything. My father was the same. I think I had a wash machine for 22 years, where my wife finally said, we have to change it. But this is fantastic, you know, and it will give people an option. You know, we throw too much stuff out. We've come to a population now of just throwing stuff out. If it breaks, throw it out. Whereas with a kettle, it might only need a heating element or something simple, you know, or a new lead or change of a lead. So I think it's a brilliant project, Conor. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Hussey, I see your hands down now. Are you looking in there, Alderman? Presume he's not. So
Sorry,
are you happy to second that, Councillor Norris? You second it, yeah. Okay, members, it's proposed and seconded. I think we're all in agreement there. So we'll move on then, members, to item 10, which is the Northwest Decarb facility study, and that's Conor again.
Thanks, Chair. This is to seek members' approval with regard to the allocation of match funding in support of the Northwest Region Decarbonisation Project. The project was funded by the Shared Island Local Authority Development Funding, a scheme which supports the progression of new joint investment projects by cross-border local authority partnerships that can link funding streams from north and south and better deliver shared regional development goals. The Northwest Regional Energy Strategy was developed and produced in 2020, and the strategy identifies short, medium and long-term objectives to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2045 by focusing on 5 main themes: energy efficiency, low carbon heating, low carbon transport, renewable energy generation and energy storage and smart energy management. Donegal County Council and Derry-Strabane District Council submitted a project proposal to the Shared Island Funding Scheme to progress an application for funding for the Northwest Decarbonisation Feasibility Study. The application was successful and a consultant team, Plan Energy, was awarded the contract to implement the project across the 4 decarbonisation zones: Ebrington, Castlederg, Gordahork and Carndona, two districts within each council area. The scope of the project included conducting 2 levels of energy audit, producing a marketing and communication strategy, identifying biodiversity and sustainability transport opportunities. Plan Energy carried out 56 level 1 audits on public sector buildings across the 4 zones. Detailed level 2 energy audits were carried out in 30 buildings across the 2 council areas. Detailed recommendations were made regarding building fabric upgrades, heating upgrades and renewable energy potential. Costs for individual recommendations, energy efficient savings, carbon emission savings, energy expenditure savings for each building were set out in the level 2 audit reports. And measures identified for all properties were consolidated into work packages and high level budgets were established. The project investment across the 4 zones to bring all 30 audited buildings up to high energy performance is estimated at €6.3 million. And implementing these measures would deliver €0.647 million annual energy saving costs, 4,721 megawatt hours of energy consumption savings, and removal of 1,389 tonnes of CO2 emissions across the 4 zones. The £6.3 million budget included project management fees of 20% and a marketing fee of 5%. Of the 15 buildings audited throughout Edmonton and Castlederg, 2 are council-owned, Derg Valley Leisure Centre and Folly Arena. The remainder of the buildings were schools, offices, healthcare facilities and community and charitable facilities. The most significant building for improving energy efficiency and maximising renewable energy generation is Folly Arena. The building uses 1/3 of the total energy of the entire audited buildings across the 4 zones, as set out in the feasibility study report, which had previously been reported to Council. As advised previously, in order to deliver a decarbonisation programme across Eglinton and Castlederg public buildings, a capital investment of approximately £1.6 million is required for building energy saving initiatives, £137,000 for transportation initiatives and £93,000 for biodiversity measures. Plan Energy have calculated project management fees of 20% and marketing fees of 5%. This brings the total investment to just over £2 million. The potential energy cost savings generated by implementing the programme have been calculated at £247,000 or an annual reduction of 1.55 megawatt hours of consumption with associated carbon savings of 582 tonnes of CO2 per year with a payback of 8.5 years. The report incorporates more than £2 million of available grants. These are widely available in ROI, but limited to a small number of specific small-scale grants in Northern Ireland. The project costs were estimated at €250,000, with 80% coming from the Shared Island Fund and the remaining 20% covered by the respective councils, with each expected to contribute €25,088.33 towards the project. The project has been completed with the final accounts submitted for payment. In terms of climate change, the surveys indicate a significant reduction in carbon emissions, 1,389 tonnes of CO2, which has widespread impacts across the region. The initiative aligns with the targets established within the North West Region Energy Strategy and the wider Northern Ireland Climate Act of 2022. Energy audits have been completed in 5 public buildings within the rural Castlederg zone. This includes a council leisure facility, 3 schools and a community centre. Project funding to complete the energy saving projects will benefit the area in terms of potential reduction in energy consumption of 426,000 kilowatt hours and carbon emissions of 121.7 tonnes of CO2. Financial, as stated in 3.2 above, each of the councils committed to covering 10% of the total project cost in the sum of €25,088.33, and provision for this will be covered within existing Directorate Energy budgets. And members are asked, therefore, to confirm the council contributes €25,088.33 to cover the costs of the North West decarbonisation project as set out in the report.
Thank you, Conor. Councillor Deeney.
So just like to say, I'd like to propose a recommendation. I know it's part of a wider project that the council's committed to, and our council knows the importance of the decarbonisation areas we have discussed before, particularly in the midst of a climate crisis. As I've said before, the focus on improving energy efficiency and maximising the renewable energy generation in Folly Arena is really welcome because it does take up so much. So thank you very much and happy to propose.
Thank you, Councillor Deeney. I have no other member indicated, but I need a seconder there. Just Councillor McGinley seconded it. So I think that's pretty unanimous. Item 10, sorry, item 11. Is it? No, item 10, Northwest Decarb. Sorry, item 11, yeah. Waterloo Place temporary parklet. And it's nice taking that.
Thank you, Chair. Members, you recall the item presented to the E&R Committee last June in respect to the temporary parklet that was installed at Waterloo Place as part of the DFC funded Recovery Revitalisation Project. Members, you'll note that this was a temporary measure and formed part of a series of interventions delivered in Derry City Centre during the period 2020 to 2022 in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The temporary parklet was installed in Waterloo Place and comprises of a combination of planters, seating, tables with the purpose of creating new outdoor spaces for use to the public. This temporary space had been used by members of the public and is generally populated during lunchtimes and periods of warmer and dry weather. The parklet experienced some incidents of antisocial behaviour during spring-summer periods in both 2022 and in 2023. Antisocial behaviour was mainly associated with a small number of individuals entering the space, consuming alcohol and causing nuisance and annoyance to passers-by and local businesses. Some of the issues occurring in the space has required a multi-agency approach to seek to address the concerns raised by the surrounding businesses and which led to a reduction of relevant incidents. Members will note from the previous report back in June 23 that Council had been asked by some businesses and other stakeholders affected by the antisocial behaviour to consider the removal of the temporary parklet. At that time, this option wasn't ruled out and was kept under review. Since the last report, there's been further focused engagement with stakeholders to consider issues and options going forward. Stakeholders included business and tourism representative bodies, traders and police. Based on this engagement with the stakeholders and mindful of the issues arising over the previous two spring-summer seasons, there's a renewed desire by the stakeholders for the furniture to be removed. The stakeholders are of the view that having considered other potential options, including animation of the space, etc., that the preferred option is to remove this temporary installation, and they've asked Council to consider this. Members, in terms of the implications, the installation of the parklet was designed to be a temporary feature to create casual seating opportunities in the city centre for use by members of the public. The temporary nature of the project is such as the design features and materials were informed by the fact that that furniture could be easily removed if required. The project was funded to the rate of 100% by DFC as part of the COVID Recovery Revitalisation Programme with no cost implications to Council. The funders content that the individual furniture items are relocated to identified accessible locations across the city centre. Should members be minded to approve the removal of the temporary parklet, then officers are proposing to use individual elements of that street furniture in terms of the planters and tables and other locations as part of a replacement and upgrading of existing benches and planters. The proposal relates to individual furniture items only and doesn't involve the parklet itself being relocated elsewhere. Officers have further reviewed the cost implications associated with the removal of the temporary parklet and are proposing to utilise its own direct labour force to carry out the works, with these costs being absorbed within existing budgets also. Should members be in agreement, then with the recommendation that officers proposing to have this temporary parklet removed, officers are proposing to continue the engagement with the relevant stakeholders to consider and identify other potential agreed options that could be considered in relation to the future use and animation of the space. So members, in conclusion, in terms of the recommendation, we're asked you to note the contents of the report and to endorse and authorise officers to put in place the arrangements to remove the parklet and to reuse the furniture elsewhere. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Tony. And I have Councillor Deaney indicated. Or sorry, McGinley.
Good Chair, and thank you, Tony, for the report. I know it's something you've been working on for quite some time. And I think just firstly to say that I'm happy to propose the recommendation that's within the report. And I think that the ongoing engagement with business, they've been contacting us. I know that my colleague, Patrick Dargy, has been in contact with yourself as well, Tony, in relation to this. It's something that has raised its head, and if the recommendation is coming from those groups and the likes of the City Centre Initiative and everybody that's been working in the background, is that the removal at this stage is the preferred option, then I think that that's what we need to do. But I think that moving the furniture and using it to upgrade existing furniture as well, so it's not wasted, is something that's positive. So we're content to recommend the proposed recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McGinley, and Councillor McGinley has proposed that, and Councillor Boyle.
Thanks, Chair, and thanks to Councillor McGinley as well for proposing it. Look, Chair, I'm just going to say from the outset, it's disappointing. It's very, very disappointing that this type of idea and the level of investment that went into it has brought us to this place. And let's be frank about this. The few have spoiled it for the majority. That's really where we're at. We have to, of course, as Councillor McGinley said, we have to listen to the local businesses there. If they're seeing that antisocial behaviour as a result of the parklet being there is impacting on their businesses, you know, we had a whole rates meeting here today. They are the ratepayers, and we have to be reasonable and listen to them. I've personally used it myself, but I can also see on occasion why I wouldn't go near it, because as pointed out by Tony, you know, there are elements of gather on it, and some of their behaviour leaves quite a lot to be desired. So it's unfortunate, it's regrettable, but I don't see that there's any other option at this point. However, I do have one question, and it's probably down to my lack of expertise in the building trade, more so than anything, that I don't know the answer to this. But obviously I welcome the idea that, you know, we are reusing the picnic tables, I'm guessing, and various elements of that. But is there no suggestion here that you could reuse the decking itself? Is that possible? I mean, I just hate to think that we'd be taking perfectly good materials and lobbing them into a skip. I don't know what the possibilities are around that, you know, so I'm just not an expert in that field, but I'll certainly take the answer on that. But of course, I will second the proposal from Councillor McGinley. I just don't see that we have any other option at this point.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Boyle, for seconding that. I'm going to ask Conor to respond to that.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Yeah, we will look to use as much of the material from the parklet as possible. It's what's called a composite decking. So it can be reused and it can be broken down. And there are a number of uses that we have kind of earmarked across the city and district. So there are other areas where we have wooden decking that we can replace it, so it's harder wear and it's more durable. So we look to do that as much as we can. So we reuse as much of that material, the planters and the benches across the city and district.
That's good to hear. I really appreciate the clarity brought around that. You know, it is composite decking, if I'm not mistaken, so it is very hard wearing, and so you've suggested the reuse of it, and I welcome that. I'm sure everybody does. So, I mean, as little as possible in the skip is really what we want to see progressing with this. As I said, it's just disappointing that we found ourselves in this position, but it's been a difficult one for people to handle in that neighbourhood. I appreciate that too.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Boyle. That's been proposed and seconded. I think that's pretty unanimous, members. So we'll move then to item 12, which is pretty straightforward, and it's APSA Energy Membership 23-24. That's Conor again taking that.
Thanks, Chair. The purpose of this report seek members' approval to renew membership of the APSA Energy Association. As the report sets out, we've been a member for a number of years, and the benefits of belonging to
here 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Alison Wallace, would you mention the
Sir McMorris, is your mic turned on there?
Sorry.
Okay, thanks, Chair. As the report sets out, we've been a member of the organisation for a couple of years, with Energy APSA bringing councils together to share information, ideas, resources and best practice with regards to energy projects. More information can be found on APSA Energy using the link as provided within the report. As a member, council continues to benefit from APSA's energy expertise and knowledge through services such as building links with the energy industry,
and exploring opportunities for councils to realise the financial, economic and social benefits of localised energy generation. They provide consultancy and support for the development of a strategic approach to renewable energy projects. A resource portal giving access to a range of best practice guides, case studies, energy efficiency guides and so on, technical updates and government briefings, network opportunities across the sector and particularly at local authority level, and access to practical workshops, conferences and seminars designed specifically around the energy and net zero challenges faced by councils. As the report goes on to say, APSI Energy organised a conference in June 2023 in Mid-Antrim, and during that event the agenda covered topics such as developing net zero roadmaps, biodiversity initiatives with the local authority, decarbonising local authority assets and a review of energy and climate policy within NI. APSI Energy Association organises several webinars throughout the years on topics such as climate change engagement, inclusion, development of heat networks, public sector decarbonisation, grid connections planning, air source heat pumps, developments and carbon literacy. As the report sets out, as an existing APSI member, the council continues to be eligible for a discounted fee of £2,337, excluding VAT, and funds are available within existing budgets to renew the membership, and members are asked to approve the payment and renewal of the membership fee as set out in the report.
Thank you, Conor. Councillor Murphy.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Conor. I think the report makes it obvious the benefit of the membership to the council, so I'm happy to propose that we accept the recommendation.
Been proposed by Councillor Murphy, seconded Councillor Boyd. Okay, members. So, members, item 13 to 21 is for information. I know there's a couple of councillors want to raise some of them, so I'll just go through them one by one. Item 13. Proposed disabled parking bays. Item 14, DFI. Councillor Duffy, item 13 was it? 14? Go ahead, Councillor Duffy.
Cormac, Chair. It's just, I know that you don't need a proposer or anything like that there, so it's really just to welcome the reduction of speed in the two areas within my DEA. The one on the Temple Road, but I'm actually not too sure about because you'll know yourself, I think it's a dead end, so I don't really know what the purpose is of it. I tried to find out from DFI, but I didn't have much luck getting. I got an answer, but it wasn't really a good one. But the one for Clooney, as our local councillors will know, the Clooney Road, it's actually the old Clooney Road, where now it's used as a walking path and nearly a makeshift greenway at this stage. There's a lot of people walking on it, so it's good to see the reduction on there. And just to, I suppose, update committee that regarding the wider of road safety around that area of the Clooney Road, we met with DFI there on Monday morning. And DFI, we had a very positive meeting with DFI, who have give some reassurances to a commitment of road safety within the village of Eglinton. Sadly, there was a very serious accident there just before Christmas on the 11th of December, where a mother and daughter was struck by a car at the zebra crossing down there. What, in my view, it's a shared view that it needs updated. It seems to be misdesigned at one point. So the DFI have come up that they're going to look at that and look at the redesign, which very positively. And I know it's a thing that I've been working on since my time in council, and Paul before me as well, as I know others have been working on it too. So it's good to get that bit of commitment on road safety from DFI. And thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Norris.
Thank you, Chair, for bringing me in. I think, Alex, it's that's a dead end. You're right, but I think people are speeding under it, so they're using it as a sort of thing. And Councillor Duffy's right about Clooney Road as well. Just what happened down there, actually, there was a bollard missing, knocked down. So what people were doing, they're actually coming off the roundabout and driving up onto the pathway over the path and connecting onto which is the dead end road for the Cluny Road, you know. So DFA has told me that they're replacing the bollard there, so hopefully that will be all sorted out this week. As well about the Eglinton, Councillor Duffy's right. I live in the village, you know, as well as being a councillor. I've lived there 30 years as a parent and a resident. I've had various meetings with DFA over the years, you know, and now as a councillor, there's a lot of issues in Eglinton, and there's a new team has been set up, Eglinton Community Active Travel Team, and they're holding a public meeting on Thursday next week about road safety, to gather the views of the people and all. So that's very positive, and DFA will be attending that as well. Thank you.
Okay, members, thanks for those comments. Item 15 is flooding update. Item 16 is Mobile update. Go ahead, Councillor Donnelly.
Good Chair. I'm a bit concerned regarding some of the stuff in this, regarding particularly the invasive non-native species, giant hogweed and Japanese knobweed and some Indian balsam. You know, and it has been indicated that there's no need for an interim intervention. It's not required, and this can be taken care of as part of the main remediation contract. And you know, which obviously remediation is the prevent, minimize, remedy or mitigate the effects. Then we're seeing that the site has been breached on a number of occasions, and I think it's absolutely disgraceful, given such the scandal is that people have been going back, and you know, it's not a case that they're just coming up a country road and they're actually removing padlocks and taking away chains and padlocks and proceeding to fly tip and put rubbish on top of an area that is already very controversial. And I'm just concerned that the security around this site isn't as what it should be, and you know, traffic, unauthorized traffic or dumping in it could lead to potential spread of those invasive species. And the other issues, Chair, regarding that remediation work that would have some of the issues that I would have is that you know, the objectives in it, there doesn't seem to be any factor regarding costs. You know, costs, a breakdown of costs regarding various options, which include future maintenance and monitoring costs. You know, and there's different options there, as I'm sure people know, and one of them is to leave it in the ground. And I think, you know, given the day that we've had and all the to and fro and here about the public purse and the costs, I think, you know, when are we going to get this stage that we can get a proper breakdown of costs to see what the options entail? Now, having said that, Chair, I don't think there should, you know, what cost to the environment. I think this is an issue that should be dealt with, that you know, despite what costs, the option should be the most safest for ourselves and for future generations. So I'm just concerned that when will we get to that stage, or how do we get to that stage? Thank you.
Through you, Chair, members, we're happy to raise those issues with DAERA and members. Just for your information, I know we've discussed over the last number of months the preferred options remediation strategy that DAERA intend to publish in the coming weeks. They have advised that will be a ministerial decision in terms of when that's released, but they hope that it will be relatively soon. So we will try and find out for the next report and ask them to include that. And we'll also ask them for further information in relation to invasive species and in relation to the security of the site. I know that's certainly something they've been looking at, but we can ask them for more detail on that for the next update. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, members, so our next item then is the item 17, and that's the update on the by notice of motion. Next item is item 18, and that's development of a built heritage audit for Newton Stewart and St. Mills. I've Councillor Kerrigan indicated online for that. Go ahead, Alderman.
Thank you very much, Chair, for allowing me in. Chair, just welcome that this is will be undertaken here. I know, to be fair, in one regard, we've got some funding there. Just a quick question: how much support will there be from the HED, or is it made just a bit of funding? Because to be truthful, any dealings you have with HED, nothing moves quickly. Also, just touching on that there, welcome this. As I say, there is, you know yourself, Chair, in regards to the buildings and the sites within particularly Sign Mills and Newton. But just touching on it, I'm assuming it'll spread out of Newton, because Newton Stewart itself is, I mean, not all of the town is within the Derg DEA. I know it's highlighting the Derg DEA, but I'm assuming it'll touch into that you can head out by Straw Hill and on out there by Straw Halter. You know, in regards to the Newton Stewart end of things, that it's not solely what lies in the Derg DEA. So just clarification on that. But no, welcome that can be done. And as I say, if we can do a report on various attractions and items there that can be implemented there, and hopefully we can then follow on and get a bit more something more substantial on there, because there are the tourist attractions such as Harry Avery's Castle and that you know really need to open up a bit, and even pushing into greenways. I know it's not part of this as regards to the historic end of things, but let's just get that wee push that we can push the rest of the settlements here within that lower end of the council. But if you could just get that clarification, is it only financial at this stage from HED? And I'm assuming we'll be able to go outside of the Derg DEA, that we'll be able to enter into the spare. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Alderman. I'm going to ask Tony to respond there. Just.
Thank you, Chair. In response to the queries, firstly, we have a firm letter of offer from HED of £10,000 to do this, so that is certain and guaranteed, firstly. The second, in terms of geographical area, obviously Newton Stewart and Sign Mills were identified because of the fact, firstly, they were conservation areas, and obviously areas where, obviously, you know, they are rich in built heritage. But that said, you know, we're keen to embrace as much of that in the surrounding hinterland. And obviously, as part of the audit, we'll try to capture that. But I would encourage that if any members have any information or any sites they'd like to share with us that they would like us to consider within the context of the audit, then we'd very much welcome that. And the final piece, for final part of Alderman Kerrigan's query in relation to I suppose the condition of some of the sites, and particularly the HED-owned sites. This is first and foremost I suppose an information piece that will be used as a promotional tool for visitors and for citizens, in terms of, you know, appreciating and the built heritage assets in the area, and signposting people to those by virtue of a brochure, and obviously something which could be printed and hosted online. Unfortunately, at this stage, it doesn't advocate, or unable to advocate for funding or, you know, capital funding to repair any sites or address any sites. But that said, I think the fact that we're raising the profile of these in a coordinated manner will help us in other discussions with like HED and other owners to, I suppose, take further and keen interest in their assets and try to obviously upgrade and repair as and where they can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tony. I'm going to bring in Councillor Devine.
Good Chair. I'm not a member of committee, so thank you. I want to welcome the project. As you've said, Tony, there are two areas, conservation areas, and I think their built heritage are really key aspects for those two towns, and it's really important, I think, for both the local communities and for businesses, because of the character, I suppose, that it brings to the towns, but also because of the potential for tourism within the towns themselves, but also connecting and then to that sort of wider geographical area. Having worked with some of the groups in Newton Stewart in particular, one of the issues, and you've alluded to it, was around signage and wayfinding for those, for both the built heritage and their natural heritage, and that's been highlighted as an issue. So I think the project will be instrumental really in promoting and marketing both towns, and I suppose it's really good that it's tying into one of the themes in terms of the draft regeneration framework for Newton Stewart. So even though that's only draft and we haven't started the consultation, it's really great that there's some work, you know, going on towards that. And I think anything that can help to attract visitors and to increase footfall for those towns is really important for them as well. So that project's very welcome as a starting point.
Thank you, Councillor Devine. Item 19, which is the Newton Stewart Regeneration Framework. Councillor Devine, you're looking on that again.
Sorry, thank you. Just to say, again, really welcome. It's an extensive consultation plan looking to sort of engage with a whole range of different stakeholders at different levels. I also want to welcome the ongoing regular engagement that the council are undertaking with the different groups in the area, and I think the feedback from those groups has been that that's really appreciated and has been really beneficial in terms of just keeping the momentum going to help to rejuvenate the town. So from my own perspective, I'm looking forward to engaging in the process as well. So thanks very much for that outlay.
Thank you, Councillor Devine, and I've Alderman Kerrigan indicated online here as well under item 19.
Thank you very much, Chair, for allowing me in. And again, I do welcome consultation and the work that has taken place to date. But Chair, I do note on the report there 3.3, it states that officers will provide further details at today's meeting in regards to venues for consultation, because I mean, we have got to recall, we have got to remember, you know, not everybody's online. And again, it's a particular gripe I have there in regards to, we have a lot of online surveys that could be open for, it doesn't matter to me if they're open for 4 months or 4 years. You know, there are certain people that do not have online access, and one day for a drop-in, you know, sometimes doesn't cut it. You know, so I do feel that it is a thing that we've got to have. Should it be, and I mean, I'm only just saying that the officer will come back where they want to go or what they're looking to do. But seeing as you are working in regards to the 2000 centre, should it be a thing that there's not that there are, or maybe I have missed it, Chair? To be fair, I could have missed it. But is there a state that these paper copies of these surveys could be marked and left at the 2000 centre, so the 2000 centre is in use effectively on a near enough day on a daily basis? You know, public consultation is grand, you know, but one day on it sometimes just doesn't suit people. So if there's that option to leave paper copies of the consultation, that and as long as people know about it as well, it's getting it out there that you want that feedback, because you're not just solely looking for an online feedback. You need to have the people on the ground, you know, that are still, and a lot of people just are not comfortable doing it online and would prefer pen and paper. So just clarification on that. Thank you very much, Chair.
Yeah, Alderman Kerrigan, Tony's going to come and address some of those points for you there.
Thank you, Chair. In response to Alderman Kerrigan, firstly, the online public consultation has commenced. It commenced there on Monday, Monday the 12th, and will run for 4 weeks. And council's marketing teams are obviously promoting that as much as they can through obviously the various social media channels, and that will run until the 11th of March. We also are having in report, and I have a date on that as well, in terms of the focused engagement with the Newton Stewart Heritage Group and Newton Stewart Traders Group. That's happening next Monday, the 19th of February. And obviously this is all running in parallel with the wider consultation process. Members, you'll note from the report as well that we're working on a date in respect of having the DEA elected members workshop, and that is now scheduled for Thursday, the 7th of March, and we're in and around 12 noon. Now, what we'll do, we will communicate this to you with the details of and we're currently working on a venue at this minute in time, but I'd appreciate for those members within those wires, indeed any other members, that'll be Thursday the 7th at 12 noon. And then in the afternoon of the 7th of March, the officers will be hosting a drop-in session within Newton Stewart as well. And again, we're just firming up the details of that venue, and we will be making ourselves available to the officer team to assist with any queries and indeed help anybody who wishes to fill out the survey as well. And also the suggestion by Alderman Kerrigan, thank you, in relation to copies being made available. we can do that very easily and very quickly, and we can arrange with the various community stakeholders to obviously to leave paper copies and for anybody to fill those out, and we can collect them and analyse them as part of the online assessment as well. So hopefully, members, that provides a summary of the intended consultation around the document, and we will write to you with those details firmed up now that we have all of the dates secured, and we're just working now on the venues. And again, thank you for your patience.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Our next item then, members, is item 20, and that's the Ross Downey Play project. I have Councillor Riley indicated online. Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Chair, and just want to record thanks to the officers for getting us to this stage on this project and to welcome the progress on it to date. Chair, I'm just conscious as well, on my pack, Appendix 2 details the letter that's to go out to the residents. I don't see Appendix 2 attached in the paper, so if officers could just forward that appendix paper on to elected members, that'd be appreciated. But as I said, Chair, just to welcome it and to thanks to the officers for getting it this far. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. That letter will be forwarded. Our next indicated speaker is Councillor Deeney.
Good Chair, same as Councillor Riley, just to thank the council officers for this report. The plans look great, and there are 3 areas within the Waterside DA that really are in need of a play park. So it's just great to see progress. So thank you.
And online is Alderman McMorris.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not part of this committee, but I really wanted to come in on this here item. I'd like to first of all thank the officers and the team involved in that, namely Helen, Colin and Leanne, who were part of the design team and got us to there. I was part of that team, and we're really excited to see the progress made and eventually getting to see the draft plans of this play park, which has been very much welcomed within the community. This play park was a play park that was taken away by council due to health and safety issues, and they've been left bereft of any play provision in the area. So this is really, really welcomed, and I really, really love to see this here project to completion. But thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. And Alderman Hussey on this issue.
Thank you, Chair. My ears picked up when we heard their Councillor Nairi, or Alderman, with regard to a play park having been taken away and the work now been done to revitalise and rejuvenate that particular play park. Very, very welcome. Is there any update on what's happening with regard to the play park in Kiln? Which again is sitting there not able to be used. Thank you.
Through you, Chair, members, I did request, I know that the teams are working on the reinstatement of Kiln. I did ask for an update, and I don't have any of the officers here today, but I will get an update and circulate it to members as soon as possible. Thank you, Chair.
I appreciate it, Director. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, members. And the last item for information is item 21, and that's the green space associated with Sean Dolan's and Radius Housing Development. Councillor McGinley indicated.
Very good, Chair, and I just want to welcome this report. I said earlier, of declaration of interest, that I'm a member of the committee at Sean Dolan's, and the project in itself has been massively positive. It's been positive in terms of people getting houses, but it's also been a really positive model for how we can work forward in developing communities. The work that's happened between Radius, the team at Chandolans and the team within the council has been second to none. It was a long time getting there, but now seeing it rolled out has been fantastic, and it's been to the benefit of a lot of people within the Craigan area. So I just wanted to welcome the report coming forward, and I'm looking forward to seeing the completion of the project and the last phase of houses being allocated.
Thank you, Councillor McGinley, and Councillor Donnelly.
Chair, similar vein to Councillor McGinley. It is a model of best practice, the collaboration with the various different agencies and groups outlined. You know, the tremendous work that Shan Downs has been doing and putting that facilities to use. And without saying, goes without saying, the 119 social housing units that have brought much needed homes to people who were homeless. Chair, there is an ongoing issue in that area, and maybe I'm not sure, but council could have a look at it. And it's the area, unfortunately, in the green spaces around it and the streets have been blighted by like scramblers, motorbikes and that, and haven't been, you know, I haven't spoken to a number of residents. Some of them are at their wits' end. Not only is it sort of impacting on their, you know, maybe children, young children being in bed for school and that, but it's now developing into like a dangerous situation where somebody could be hurt. And I would just like to use this venue to appeal to the young people that, you know, they could be in serious trouble and hurt themselves or hurt others, but I'm not sure that maybe council could factor that in regards to green space, because it definitely is an ongoing problem. So I'd appeal to the young people involved, appeal to the parents and even residents to be careful here, because, you know, there is potentially an accident waiting to happen. So if maybe council officers could maybe look at that regards the green space in it. Thank you.
You chair members, we're more than happy to look at that, the specific actual pieces of land we're talking about, and see what we can do. I think no problem.
Okay, members, that brings us to the end of our items and open business. I'm just conscious some members might have been here since the rates meeting. Or do members want a quick recess, or do you want to batter on? Keep it up. Okay. Just wait for an indication from our IT officer there that we're ready to go on the committee.
What was that, Chair?
And proposed by Councillor Boyle.